What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of View for Tower of God Season 2. This is episode 8, and with me, as always, I have Loosebed.
So we mentioned, everybody noticed last week that the initial release of episode 7 had some, I guess you could say some subtitle or translation errors because they accidentally used the subtitles for this episode into last week
Yeah,
before they finally fixed it. Of course, this involves this episode, of course, introduces like this new AI bot app thing called Emily, in which the characters are using it as a way to answer certain questions on how to navigate the tower and who's involved and whatnot.
this
But
this
much of
plot
this
point to
episode,
me just honestly kind of came out of nowhere that they introduced this like AI that's I guess communicating with all the characters. But also I guess this AI wants to be like I guess experience human emotions like love and all that. Um,
Mhm.
and also it got really weird at the end of the episode as well with the AI. I guess they at certain points they show I guess supposedly the true form of the AI, which is like this, I guess this machine. But they also show this person who's like, who I guess is hooked up to some kind of a, it looks like a VR
I,
headset.
it
Uh,
looks. I'm pretty sure that this actual person is Emily,
I guess
who's
so, yeah.
yeah, like you said,
It
it's
wasn't
like
really
hooked
clear as
to
to
the
if that
machine.
really was her or like somebody else, but I guess it was her. Um,
Yeah, I guess like she's it it looks like she's been hooked onto that machine for an extended period of time because you
yeah,
can see like her physical appearance seems to be uh
yeah, like she seems like she's, I guess, pretty old, maybe. Um, Maybe she's I don't know. I'm wondering if she's going to be relevant later because I'm wondering like why she was all of a sudden brought up in this episode. Uh
I mean there has to be a reason why they're introducing her right now.
yeah.
I mean she of course by the end of the episode, I mean we'll get to that later, but much of the episode is of course focusing on it kind of switches back and forth between Bam's team and Kun's team.
Mhm.
Um, for Bam's perspective, like we had the entire group is going up against another team and recovering this key. Now, there's not a lot else that goes on. We see like a lot of the team members like working together by taking down this opposing team, and Wang Anan is doing his best to try to and I guess to draw them away or maybe recover the key at the same time. And then like he literally gets cornered to the point where like I guess they're about to kill him, but then Bam just shows up at the last minute to save Wang Nan and take the opposing team down and recover the key.
Yeah.
Um
I guess you could say there was also like somewhat some were like comedic moments in the episode because there's like moments where Wong Nang's trying to mess with one of the opposing team members by I guess pretending to be like some uh well not like a some I guess bird, some pet bird that he had at one point that, but then we find out later he'd burned it alive or he'd burned it and I guess later he ate it or something. Uh,
yeah, I don't know. I just felt kind of weird when he did that. I didn't know like what the purpose for that was.
yeah,
Maybe as a distraction, but just
and then
it didn't
with Kun's team, they face off against this. I guess you call it like a mole person or something that can dig through the wall. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
and then they're fighting against like a four-eyed, four-armed guy, that they're going up against, and um, in the end, like they managed to get through the fight, you know, sort of. And then, but I think the most interesting scene was like what one of those guys interacting with Rachel, uh, who's like she. It's obvious she's trying to take advantage of this one guy. I think one of her lines said like, "I want you to be my legs" or something like that. Even though
mhm.
like we know that she can technically walk just fine, but
I'm
it's
wondering if
obvious.
she's maybe trying to manipulate him, like maybe how she tried to manipulate Bam. Um,
Yeah, it's most likely.
yeah,
I th- yeah, I think in a way like in a way she knows that Kun is gonna end up disposing her, uh, at one point or another.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
maybe she's
because like
trying to like I don't know, maybe like sort of set some of his teammates against him or something. So maybe they'll like
it,
stab him in the back.
yeah, I think that's a very likely possibility. I mean, Kun initially recruited, um, these new team members in a way to, uh, and I guess as a way to backup against Rachel. But I feel like that plan is going to end up, I don't know, backfiring in his face.
Yeah, that's if she knows
Um,
that maybe that, like you said, that he plans to dispose of her. So she's trying to use them against him in case when he does do that.
yeah. So, uh, so Kun ends up picking up, the phone with the Emily app still on, and it's strange the way he finds out about this. He finds out that Bam is alive thanks to Emily.
I'm surprised that it's not something that he had asked the app before. That, like that he's asking. It's just kind of weird. He's asking her that now, and he's of course surprised that she just confirms that Bam is alive.
Yeah, it's just yeah, I don't know. It just felt kind of weird that the way he finds out this way. Um I think and then of course we also see like Androssi.
Oh yeah, and
I
Dorsey.
Dorsey. Yeah, so we see her using the app too, but we don't really get to see much of hers after this. So it's kind of weird that they keep bringing back some of the old characters, but they don't really get to utilize them as much outside of Kun.
Yeah, like they don't really do much aside from Kun. They're not really doing anything that important.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I mean, the episode itself, I mean, it's average at best. I mean, there were some good action scenes here and there, but it kind of flew by like really fast in my opinion. I think the only interesting stuff they showed is, I guess you could say, the Emily AI bot, and then of course, uh, I guess Rachel taking next steps to, I guess, to move forward with her plan to ascend the tower herself,
Hmm.
without having to use Kun all the time.
Yeah, like you said, I thought it was an okay episode, but the stuff with the Emily AI just kind of felt like to me it just sort of came out of nowhere because it hasn't really been hinted at or anything up until this point, and I'm wondering what they're gonna do with with her. Um, and yeah, like the most interesting stuff was what was going on with Rachel, and the stuff with Bam wasn't really that interesting in this episode, to be honest. And I was also kind of confused a little bit about the timeline because it feels like they mentioned in passing that they'd been climbing for 3 years up until this point, and I guess supposedly there's been a time skip in between the last episode and this one, but it doesn't really feel that way. So I'm not really sure about that.
Yeah, it's just they're not really consistent with like what part of the time, like how long they've been climbing the tower here and there. I mean, we know like it's been like they said it was 5 years between the events of the first and second season,
Yeah.
but in terms of what's happening right now, it's just not there's not really any consistency. I mean, outside the fact that last week that they were told like it would take them 2 years to reach the so-called workshop in order to help Wang Nan find Bam's old previous team.
I'm wondering
Uh,
if they're just doing that so they can get to the workshop stuff at the end, maybe at the end of the season.
it Yeah, I think it's possible. It's just I don't know like how they're gonna end up getting there though, and considering the fact that the timelines, I don't know, intentionally jumping the timeline left and right here and there. It's just it's hard to tell because we don't know if like much of the scenes that we see between Bam's team and Kun's team are really taking place at the same time,
Hmm.
or they're taking place in like separate times, and then like just this, just to see a different perspective, I guess.
Yeah. Yeah, but I don't really have too much else to say about the episode, though. Like I said, it was okay, but yeah, I felt like it could have been some stuff like where they are in terms of the timeline could have been done a little bit better.
Mhm.
But yeah, I don't know if you have anything else to say about it.
Yeah, I mean, it was average at best. I mean, it kind of just flew by, like very very quickly. The Emily stuff like just came out of nowhere. I really wish we
Hmm.
could have gotten more with that. It just It's just like what a lot of the stuff they revealed about Emily, like it feels kind of rushed in my opinion. Like we know like this Emily thing uh has its uses for like some of the other characters, but what they reveal, like this being an actual person being hooked up to a machine is like is another thing entirely. But they didn't really elaborate all that much into it.
Yeah. Yeah, but that all being said, guys, until next week, we will see you all later.